Hello P6 and welcome to our numeracy lesson for Thursday. Now today we are going to concentrate once again on telling the time. And yesterday we were practicing telling the time using our analog and digital clocks. And we were practicing telling the time looking at the hour hand and the minute hand and working out how to tell the time, whether it's on this type of clock, an analog clock, or whether it's just using numbers on a digital clock. Now, one of the things we looked at yesterday, we used Education City and we used this topic tool, the time topic tool. And for those of you who find it a little bit difficult to tell the time, I'd like you to begin today by going back and using that topic tool to revise telling the time in analog and digital time. It's very good for us all to do some practice. If you can't remember how to use that, go back and watch yesterday's video and that'll give you some more ideas about it. Another one I would like you to look at today in Education City is this one called Little Book of Time, and it reminds you about all the important facts to do with time. So for example, things like there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And one of the things we're going to concentrate on today is we're going to be thinking about the hours, and we're going to be thinking about how our hour is our day even is divided into 24 hours. Now we know that in a day that there are 2 12 o'clocks, 2 1 o'clocks, 2 2 o'clocks, 2 3 o'clocks, and so on. A day begins at midnight. It begins at 12 o'clock at midnight. And as we go through the night, and then we get to the hours that we start to wake up, so around maybe 7 o'clock in the morning that we start to wake up. And as the morning goes through, when we come back round to the second 12 o'clock, we might call it midday or noon. And then we have our afternoon, so through the afternoon to tea time and the evening. And then we get back into the night and we come back round towards midnight again. Now, because the day is divided into 2 groups of 12 hours, it can get very confusing if we're not sure which group of 12 hours we're actually looking at. So for example, if I wanted to watch a TV programme and I was told that TV programme begins at 8 o'clock, is that 8 o'clock in the morning or is that 8 o'clock at night? Well, to help me out, we use words such as AM and PM. We use AM, as you learned in P5, to describe the first 12 hours of the day, from 12 midnight all the way through the night and right round through the morning until lunchtime. The first 12 hours of the day is known as AM. And then once we get to 12 midday or 12 noon, the second half of the day is known as PM. So if I was talking about a time being 12 p.m., sorry, not 12 p.m., 8 p.m., 8 p.m. would be 8 o'clock in the evening. Now, to help you out with some revision of telling the time using AM and PM, if you go on to Stay in Education City and go and have a look at an activity called Like Clockwork, that one will help you out a little bit as well. And another activity in Education City called The Sands of Time. Those activities will help you revise what we learnt in P5, all about using AM and PM. For your written task today, you have got a choice of 3 worksheets. Now, this is the middle level, but all of the worksheets are pretty similar. To start off with, you have been given some times. And what you need to do is convert those into digital times. The first one has been done for you. So if the time was 11:05, then we would write that as 11:05. So can you change those times to be digital times? But once you've done that, then what I would like you to do is go and have a go at the second page. And on the second page, what you need to do is you've been given some different times. Some of them begin with AM, some of them begin with PM. Can you put those in order from the earliest time in the day to the latest? Then you've got a school timetable. Can you take each of these times and change them into AM or PM times? Keep asking yourself, is it in the first 12 hours of the day? If it is, then it's going to be an AM time. If it's in the second group of 12 hours in the day, then it's going to be a PM time. Now, for our final activity for today, for my introduction to you, I want to have a little look at this screen because I want you to have a think with me about some of these questions. So let's practice using AM and PM in practice. Here's a school timetable and we've got 6 lessons that are going to happen. We've got Maths, French, DT, which is Design and Technology, Spelling, Geography and Grammar. And for each clock, I can see what time that lesson begins at. Now, what I need to think about is, can I take these times? And if it's during school, can I decide if this is a morning time or an afternoon time? If it's a morning time, it's going to be AM. If it's an afternoon time, it's going to be PM. So look at the maths time. Well, the maths time begins, well, it shows me it's 10:15. So what would 10:15 be? Well, that's going to be 10:15 in the morning, isn't it? Because maths would happen in the morning, 10:15. It's not going to be 10:15 at night, not if I'm in school. So it's going to be 10:15 in the morning, and 10:15 in the morning is 10:15 AM. Now, the French lesson, it doesn't begin until 1:20. Is that going to be morning or late at night or in the afternoon? Well, I think we can all agree, hopefully that's in the afternoon. And if it's in the afternoon, 1:20 becomes 1:20 PM because it's after midday. What about design and technology? 5 to 2. So that's going to be 1:55. It's going to be 1:55 in the afternoon. So that time is going to become 1:55 PM. The spelling lesson begins at 5 minutes to 12. So that's going to be 11:55. Is that 11:55 AM or 11:55 PM? Yep, it's going to be 11:55 AM because it's still before midday. The geography lesson, well, that time is 10:40, 20 to 11. Is that going to be in the morning or is it going to be after lunch? It's going to be in the morning, isn't it? So that's going to be 10:40 AM. What about the grammar lesson? It starts at 3:05. 3:05, that's going to be the afternoon. So 3:05, that's going to be 3:05 and 3:05 PM. Now, let's have a look at these times. If there was a special event going on and there were lots of wonderful things happening at that special event, like a disco, a parade, a raffle, a barbecue and fancy dress, I've got the time of these different 5 events, 5 activities. I wonder, can you work out which one's going to come first in the day? Well, we know that AM times come before PM times. So what are the AM times? I've got a parade at 11:55 AM, a raffle at 10:15 AM, fancy dress at 9:25 AM. So which one of those would come first? Yeah, it's going to be the fancy dress, isn't it? Fancy dress at 9:25. Which one would come first out of the raffle and the parade? Raffle, isn't it? 10:15, then 11:55 AM. Then we'll have our PM times. So I've got 3:45 PM, 8:20 PM. Which one of those would come earlier? Yeah, it's going to be the raffle, isn't it? So if I was to put those activities into order, the order that they would happen during the day would be the fancy dress, then the raffle, then the parade, then the barbecue, and then the disco. Now, on our website, folks, there are, lots of things for you to download, lots of activities there to help you. But P6, it's really important. If nothing else today, do some practice on telling the time itself. Practice reading the time on clocks, whether they're analogue clocks, whether they're digital clocks, and whatever level you're at. If you're still at the level where you're practicing things like 1/4, 1/2, 1/4 and o'clock, that's okay. Keep practicing. For a lot of you, you're practicing with your 5-minute intervals, so 5:05, 10:05, 1/4, and so on. Some of you are ready to be reading in 1-minute intervals. That's great too. But most importantly, P6, keep practicing. And have a go at today's activities. The answers for the written activity are available to download from the website.